J-Bone here, and it is time to discuss the biggest stories and takeaways from the 2026 F1 Miami Grand Prix race week that has me, J-Bone, feeling hopeful about the direction in which Formula One is heading. More on that here in a second, but speaking of things heading in different directions, we're gonna try something a little different with today's video. I, J-Bone, am gonna take my race car bed that Millie recently fixed up out on the road. Hop on in, Millie. We're headed to South Beach. First and foremost, an F1 team not named Mercedes finally won a Formula One race this season. After having a month without racing to sit and think about how sad F1 is when one team is winning every race, McLaren CEO and over-the-top caricature of an American, Zak Brown, said, "I'm gonna change that up at my home race," before calling the world champion hotline and saying, "Lando, run back your Miami Magic so McLaren look good." That might be the worst Zak Brown impersonation of all time, but whatever. Then, just like last year when Zak Brown told Lando he could be world champion, probably while Zak was busy letting air out of Oscar's tires and pouring sugar into Oscar's gas tank, Lando Norris said, "All right, bet," before winning the Miami sprint race from sprint pole, thus giving non-Mercedes and neutral F1 fans around the world a race winner to cheer for the first time in 2026. Unfortunately for Zak Brown, for McLaren, it looks like the Papayas squandered what could have also been a Grand Prix win that would have really announced them as 2026 contenders on account of bad pit strategy from the race lead during all that confusion surrounding the possibility of impending rain in Miami that never really materialized. That being said, winning a sprint race in the midst of another team's dominant start to the season surely means something in terms of how much fight McLaren can bring to Mercedes in 2026, right? It's not like last season a team won a sprint race early in the season, giving all their fans hope before absolutely pooping their race car bed the rest of the season in embarrassing fashion, right? Right? Sorry, Ferrari fans. You know I had to do it to them. Before I move on, if you could please take 3 seconds to leave this YouTube video a like and comment, and then share it with a friend you watch F1 with, it would be massively appreciated. I'll respond to a bunch of comments left on this video in the first 24 hours, and if you don't believe me, go comment. J-Bone! Next up, I still cannot believe what I witnessed at the beginning and the end of the F1 Miami Grand Prix. Getting absolutely crazy first laps or final laps during an F1 race is awesome, and we were lucky enough to get both in Miami. The initial Miami laps featured all of this chaos. Lap 1, turn 1 lockups from both Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli from the front row that propelled Charles Leclerc from P3 into the race lead right away. We then got one of the most insane saves you'll ever see where Max Verstappen got loose while attempting to recover from said lockup, did a full 360, somehow did not hit a wall or another car, and then somehow also did not drop out of the top 10 by the end of the lap. We then got contact between Lewis Hamilton and Franco Colapinto that was 100% on Lewis, that was clearly Colapinto's corner, don't at me. We then got an insane wheel-to-wheel battle between both Williams cars and Max Verstappen as Max fought to regain positions that he lost as a result of his spin. And all that was just on the first lap, and then a little bit later, Charles Leclerc, Kimi Antonelli, and Lando Norris all were within 1 second of each other at the front of the pack, as almost simultaneous huge incidents brought out a safety car. You had Isaac Hadjar, who started the race last due to being disqualified in qualifying, taking a corner too tight and annihilating his suspension. And then, more crazily, right after that, Liam Lawson had a gearbox issue that literally sent Pierre Gasly flipping upside down through the air and into the barriers. Here's a reenactment of what it looked like using me in the race car bed. Whoa! While the middle of the race was a bit more nuanced and mostly played out as a result of pit strategy, the ending was another banger. You had Kimi Antonelli in P1 trying to hold back Lando Norris while struggling with a downshift issue. You had Lando Norris on slightly fresher tires than Kimi trying to follow up his Miami sprint race win with his first Grand Prix win as the reigning world champion. You had Max Verstappen trying and failing to hold off George Russell as they both battled for P5. Then finally, you had Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri battling each other for the final podium position, which led to Charles Leclerc insanely doing almost a carbon copy of the spin and save that Max Verstappen did on lap 1 on the final lap. This led to Oscar taking P3 and Leclerc dropping from what was almost a podium finish all the way down to P8 after penalties were applied. At the end of the race, he had a suspension issue from the crash, and he was just cutting pretty much every single corner. So yeah, he got a penalty for that. 20 seconds. Ferrari fans, let me know in the comments what your reaction was when you saw Leclerc spin, because I cannot imagine it was a good sight for you to see. Close your eyes, Millie. What a race. It's hard to say if this race was better than previous races this season as a result of the new regulation changes or not, but what we do know is that it wasn't worse than previous races because of the new regulation changes, and I'll chalk that up as a huge W. Next up, the biggest Formula One news in years was just announced in Miami, and not enough people are talking about it. While in Miami, FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem said the words that F1 fans have been waiting to hear since 2014, that Formula One will be returning to V8 engines and thus saying goodbye to the V6 turbo hybrid. The timing of this colossal announcement was clearly intentional. The FIA and F1 have been grappling with the backlash from the new regulations everyone hates since the 2026 season began, and they clearly felt that they needed to calm us all down right now by telling us, don't worry, we hear ya and are gonna attempt to right our wrong. However, don't get your hopes up just yet. Bin Sulayem stated that not only would the shift back to V8s from V6 turbo hybrids not come until 2030 at the earliest, he also mentioned that the new V8s would have minor electrification, meaning they will be hybrid power units to some degree. Now, I would not spend a lot of time thinking about what that means just yet, as I'm sure the FIA have zero clue what they are gonna do yet, and they just know that, okay, we're gonna go back to V8s, and so let's just tell everybody we're gonna do it so they stop bothering us. Hilariously, it's been said that the door is also still open for V10s instead of V8s, if that tells you how far along discussions are. It's not very far at all. What do you think about this gigantic announcement from the FIA that will surely shape the future of Formula One for years to come? Let me know in the comments. Moving on, why was Max Verstappen voted Driver of the Day at the Miami Grand Prix when there was a driver who clearly deserved it more? Driver of the Day is F1's fan-voted award designed to celebrate the F1 driver who has the best performance on each Grand Prix Sunday. By design, you are only supposed to consider a driver's performance during the Grand Prix and not things from previous days like qualifying or sprint race results, hence the title Driver of the Day, not Driver of the Weekend. DOTD, as it's called, is a cool award because even if a driver qualifies P20, they still have something big to race for. Now, because the Driver of the Day title is meant to reward the driver who has the best Grand Prix performance, I need someone to explain to me how Max Verstappen, who started the Miami Grand Prix P2, spun out on lap 1, and finished the race P5, 3 spots lower than he qualified, was named Driver of the Day over a driver who had literally the best race result of his entire career. Who's that driver? Alpine's Franco Colapinto, who was on his way to taking the checkered flag in P8 from P8 on the starting grid to tie his best ever race result when DOTD voting ended. Now, where did Colapinto end up in Driver of the Day voting? All the way down in 4th behind Max, Kimi Antonelli, and Charles Leclerc. To be fair to Kimi, he definitely deserved it over Max, and to be fair to Leclerc, he did have a solid drive by the time DOTD voting ended before the final lap. Man, it would have been so funny if Leclerc had won DOTD considering how catastrophic his final lap was. Driver of the Day has been heavily criticized for being essentially a popularity contest favoring more famous drivers, and this injustice of a result in Miami is not doing those allegations any favors. To add insult to injustice, after DOTD voting ended, not only did Franco Colapinto get promoted to P7 to achieve his standalone best ever race result, but Max Verstappen received a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line at pit exit, and Leclerc received a 20-second penalty to finish behind Colapinto. That all makes it even crazier in retrospect that Max and Leclerc had more Driver of the Day votes than Colapinto. Who was your Driver of the Day in Miami? Let me know in the comments. Next, here's your Formula 2 update after the Miami Grand Prix weekend. And wow, what an F2 weekend it was. At his first ever Formula 2 home race weekend, American hero and Cadillac F1 team test driver Colton Herta topped the lone Formula 2 practice session for High Tech, which is quite impressive for a driver competing in literally just his 5th F2 session ever at a circuit he's never raced at. F2 qualifying was won by Art Grand Prix's Kush Miney, while he was the only driver in the pit lane, oddly thanks to a shortened qualifying session caused by a power unit issue from Rodin's Martinius Stenshorn. Kush Miney, aka Kush Miami, took pole by just 33 thousandths ahead of reigning F3 champion Rafael Camara. The F2 sprint race was an absolute banger and easily the best Formula Series race of 2026 thus far. Here's why. Campos' Nikola Solov, who was on sprint pole because Formula 2 sprint races do a reverse grid from P1 to P10, and Solov qualified P10, won the sprint from sprint pole by just a tenth of a second over Lawrence Van Hopen after a last-second overtake followed by a three-way drag race to the finish line. Alpine junior Alex Dunn rounded out the sprint podium for Rodin, and for Solov it was back-to-back F2 race wins as he won the Aussie feature race. The wet F2 Miami feature race was also a banger, and what appeared to be a two-way battle for the race win between Rafael Camara and Dino Beganovic with 2 laps remaining turned into a race win for Gabriele Mini as he took advantage of their overly aggressive battle to take his maiden Formula 2 victory ahead of Beganovic and Camara in that order. Now for the Colton Herta tracker, like I mentioned, Herta topped free practice, then he qualified P14 after a mistake at the final hairpin, then he finished the sprint P15 before putting together a solid P8 in the feature race. Remember, that's from P14 on the starting grid, not too shabby. Herta is currently sitting P13 in the F2 Championship standings after Miami. And here's the rest of the standings. Solov is your F2 Championship leader, but Camara and Mini are right behind him. I'll be honest, if you're disillusioned with Formula 1 right now, just add Formula 2 into your viewing routine and you'll be satisfied because the racing and championship there right now are incredible, and you can also support your favorite F1 team's next great driver while you watch. A thoughtfully built wardrobe comes down to pieces that mix well and last. That's where Quince shines. Premium fabrics, considered design, and everyday essentials that feel effortless to wear and dependable, even as the seasons change. Quince has the everyday essentials I love with quality that lasts. Lightweight cashmere sweaters, short-sleeve Mongolian cashmere polos, linen bottoms and shorts, tees in 100% Pima cotton, and European jersey linen. These are the versatile pieces that make a wardrobe actually work season to season. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middlemen. You're not paying for brand markup or fancy retail stores, just quality clothing. Their clothing is rated between 4.5 and 5 stars by thousands of people wearing it every day, and they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I am currently obsessed with my lightweight down packable puffer jacket. I don't get how it's stylish, soft, warm, lightweight, and actually affordable. Millie, why are you licking me? Is it because she wants me to put it on her because she likes it so much? Maybe. Right now, go to quince.com/bone for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to build your wardrobe and love it, and you will. Now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to quince.com/bone for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/bone. Now, I saved the best for last. Join me in congratulating me, J-Bone, on going 3 for 3 with my bona fide Miami Grand Prix race predictions. J-Bone! The crowd goes wild. J-Bone, yeah. Listen, I do not care that I've already posted about this twice on social media. I usually only go 3 for 3 with my F1 race predictions at a couple Grand Prix each season, so I'm going to milk this for all it's worth, okay? I'll get the bad news out of the way first. Millie's dog bona fide Miami Grand Prix race prediction unfortunately did not hit, as Audi did not manage to finish in the points despite Hülkenberg making Q3 and qualifying P10. Millie's pretty upset about her back-to-back incorrect predictions in Miami and Japan after she started the season 2 for 2 in Australia and China. So here's some cheese to cheer her up. I love you. Now on to the good stuff. No offense, Millie. My first Miami Grand Prix race prediction was that Kimi Antonelli would win the Miami Grand Prix, and despite suffering from a downshift issue that had him kind of freaking out on team radio near the end of the race, Kimi Antonelli rode a perfectly timed pit stop and consistent driving to his 3rd race win in a row and a 20-point championship lead over his Mercedes teammate George Russell, aka J-Bone got that one right. J-Bone! My second prediction was that Ferrari would finish off the podium in Miami, and thanks to a Charles Leclerc pirouette spin that, for me, was both painful and euphoric to watch, no prancing horse finished on the podium, which means J-Bone also got that one right. J-Bone! My final prediction was that Williams would score points in Miami, and not only did they score points, they scored double points and had their biggest points haul of the season thus far to make it a clean sweep. 3 for 3 race prediction performance from J-Bone. J-Bone! Make sure to go congratulate me in the comments and or just comment a bone emoji to show your support for J-Bone. J-Bone! That insane 3 for 3 performance takes me to 8 for 12 thus far to start the 2026 F1 season. My best ever start to an F1 season that I am going to keep rolling in, checks notes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We already got to wait 2 weeks for another F1 race. No! Before you X out of this Miami recap, for a limited time, Stone Creek Coffee is doing 20% off my custom Race Week coffee blend when you use code RACEWEEK20 at stonecreekcoffee.com/raceweek20. I promise it's the most delicious coffee you've ever tasted, and the bag will look perfect by your coffee maker each F1 race week. Toss me a subscription now and ring that notification bell to get notified when my Canadian Grand Prix preview is live. And while you're doing that, don't forget to leave a like and comment on this video as well. It really does help me out. Special shout out to my top YouTube channel members: Joe Max's #1 hater Snow, Brian Linton, Wolf Slows Racing, Waffleophagus, Melissa Cruz, Emma Super, Logan, DeBenzi, David, hey! Mash that join button just below this video to get your name shouted out right there in future videos. And if you want to join 1,000 plus F1 fans in the free to join Formula One Discord, you can go do that through the join link in the description. All right, Millie and I are off to Montreal. So until next time, folks, J-Bone! J-Bone!